In this video, we're going to do a quick little refactor to our auth reducer and our two action creators that we just put together. So if your code is not working right now, and if it feels like clicking on that button does absolutely nothing at all, you might have a very common little bug. Throughout this course, we've been defining actions that have a type property. And in every case, we've always assigned a string directly to that type property. And there's an extremely common error that tons of people make, including myself, when they are first getting started with Redux. Remember, the type property right here, whatever string we put in, it is very important that we put the exact string inside of the type property right here, and the exact same type spelling, or the exact same spelling of that string inside of our case statement inside of our reducer. It is incredibly common for people to accidentally make a little typo inside that string. So maybe they say sig in as opposed to sign in. So if you currently are having a problem inside of your program where it seems like clicking on a button does nothing at all, double check those strings for the cases. And then double check the strings inside of your action creators as well. It's incredibly possible that you might have made a little typo between the two. Now, I had told you at the end of the last video that we were going to do a little refactor here, so I'm going to show you a little technique that we can use to make sure that we don't make any typos in transcription between our reducers and our action creators. So to do this refactor and make sure we don't accidentally make any typos, I'm going to create a new file inside my actions directory. And I'm going to call it types.js. Then inside of here, we're going to define all of the different types that are used inside of our action creators and our reducers. I'll do so by writing out export const sign in equals the string sign in. And then I'll do the same thing for sign out as well. All right, so what are we doing here? Well, essentially, inside of one single file, we are defining all of the strings that can be used inside of our action creators and our reducers. So inside of all the action creators and reducers, we are no longer going to refer to plain strings. Instead, we will import these action types, these variables of sign in and sign out. These variables still reference strings, but the benefit to using variables right here is that if we ever accidentally make a typo in the name of a variable, we're going to very quickly see an error message that says like, if we type inside of our reducer, let's go back over there right now. If we accidentally reference a variable inside of here of something like sign in and then leave off like the N or something like that, we will very quickly see an error message that says something like unknown variable sig in. And that essentially is a sign to you, the developer, that you probably made a typo around one of your action types. So in reality, just about nothing here is changing. We're still using strings to coordinate our types, but those strings are being assigned to variables, just because it is easier to find errors when we make spelling or make mistakes in the spelling of a variable name. Now, just creating this types file does absolutely nothing. We have to actually use these variables inside of our reducers and our action creators. So to make use of these two variables right here, I'm going to first change into my actions index.js file. And then at the top, I will import sign in and sign out from the types file. And then for my two types or my two action creators inside of here, I will remove the plain string and replace it with sign in. And I'll do the same thing for sign out down here as well. Sign out. So now we can do the same process inside of our auth reducer. Back inside my auth reducer at the very top, I will import sign in and sign out from up one directory, actions, types. And then I will replace the string right here with sign in and the string right here with sign out. So again, we're still using strings to coordinate this. The only difference is that these strings are now assigned to variables. So if we make a typo in the variable name, we will see an error message. Now I'm going to save both files and I'll flip back over the browser and I'll do a quick little test. So I'll click sign in with Google and I'm kicked into my OAuth flow. So I still see the button change successfully. I can click sign out and the button changes back to the initial state. All right, so it looks like everything still works the way it did before. But now if I accidentally make a typo here, let's just get a quick idea of what that would look like. So if I accidentally misspell that type name right there and I go with sin because I just committed a sin in misspelling the action type, I can save this. And then I will very quickly get a nice error message right here that tells me, hey, I just did something wrong around my auth reducer. I probably misspelled a type, so I probably need to go and fix that. And so I would go back over, I would see the line that it was talking about right here, and I would say, oh, okay, yeah, I made a misspelling or a typo inside of my type, so I'll just update it to the correct spelling like so, and I can save this, and the error message goes away. Awesome. All right, so moving forward, we're going to be using this kind of type system throughout the rest of all this application and any other apps that we start to build. So it's something that we're going to do a lot moving forward just to help us catch possible typos. All right, let's take a quick pause right here. There's one last thing I want to do around our auth reducer, and then we're going to start moving on to our next big feature. So quick break, and I'll see you in just a minute.